So I was thinking I had some quick facts about Russia that I could mention, and you can confirm or deny them. Just starting with some of the basics that Russia is transcontinental, so it spans two continents, Eastern
Certain,
Europe and North Asia.
certainly, that's right.
Yes.
And if we are talking about the present ideology of Russia is like based on two continents, like it is a Eurasian country as
Right.
opposed to like a European or an Asian country.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the big reasons, uh, like they don't view themselves as well. Uh, they uh, they are different from Europeans in that sense. They feel like close, at least in the official ideology, to the Asian countries like China, for
Yeah.
example, against this sort of decadent Western civilization as they
Right.
see it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let's
Mm.
get into that more
Mm.
later.
Mm.
It's also the largest country in the world by far.
Mm.
It's almost 2 times the size of the second largest country, Canada. Not
Yeah.
really, but almost. And it's also 2 times larger than the United States
Yeah.
and China.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I was kind of shocked, like 2 times the size of US. Okay, third point is that it's Europe's most populous country. So it has 144 million people versus Germany's 84 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite a substantial difference there. But obviously, some of them are going to be in the Asian part of Russia.
Yeah.
So a little bit cheating, perhaps. But
Yeah, but of course the Asian part is more sparsely populated, with Siberia being.
yes,
Mm.
that's actually my eighth fact.
Mm.
Like Siberia is actually the largest geographical region of Russia.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, as a kid, like you think that Siberia is just the top northeastern part where the gulags and that
Yeah.
was, but it's entirely incorrect because Siberia is 77% of Russia's total land area.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
All the way to the Pacific Ocean.
Is that I was gonna ask you about that because they sometimes call it the Far East regions.
Yeah.
So do you know what is the right thing there? If Siberia extends all the way to the Pacific Ocean, or if it's the very coastal part to the east is called the Far Eastern regions.
Well, I can't say exactly, but I know at least around the region around Vladivostok is called like the Far East region.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm.
So perhaps that's different from separate from Siberia.
Mm. I'm not an expert
Okay,
in
okay.
this.
Well, maybe we can look it up. I don't know. Let's see. And then the fourth fact. Okay, so obviously the country's capital is and largest city is Moscow,
Yeah.
and it is located in Europe. And not only is Moscow the biggest city of Russia, but also like in entire Europe, with like 13 million. Okay, and or 18 million if you do the rest of the urban area, and then 21 million if you do the metropolitan area. And in 988, it adopted Orthodox Christianity. So that's
Yes.
like more than 1,000 years ago now.
Yeah, like I think it was Prince Vladimir of the Kievan Rus who Christianized Russia, so it is said. And of course, it was a major event in the history of Russia, like this adoption of Orthodox Christianity coming from Byzantine Empire
Right.
instead of like Catholic Christianity instead of elsewhere in Europe. And this is one of the moments where the development of Russia differed from the other European states.
In which way would you say that made it different?
Well, one big difference is that in rest of Europe, the Catholic Church was sort of separate from the like the realm of the monarch, the king. But in Russia, the Tsar, the emperor, was the head of the church also.
Mm.
And there was like in some ways in Western Europe the church was sort of another force in society. Like the king couldn't control everything but had to do compromises with the church, for example.
But in Russia, it was fused into one entity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the patriarchs had some power, but in the history of Russia the church has always been subject to the ruler in a way.
Okay.
Mm.
And some other random fact. I'm sure we're gonna go through this later, but just some quick facts. It's that in fact Napoleon was not the only one to conquer Moscow. Do you know who the others was?
Oh yeah, I know that the Poles conquered on the
Yes.
17th century.
Yes, that's right. There was a Polish invasion and also a Mongol invasion before the Polish. So the Polish invasion was 1610 to 1612, and they managed to enter and occupy Moscow. And then there was like the Polish prince who briefly was declared the Tsar of Russia.
Yeah.
And then the Mongols were in 1237 to 38, so briefly under Batu Khan.
Yeah, but that too is a very important period in Russian history. Like it is said that because of the Mongols, Russian development also became different from the European countries, as the sort of they destroyed a lot of the Russian culture, but it was because of Mongol invasion. It was possible for the then city of Moscow to become the ruler of Russia, like the leading city in Russia, leading principality in Russia. And if it hadn't been for that, maybe it would have been, for example, Novgorod, with the city in the north, which would have become the leading city. And in a sort of medieval sense, it was more democratically ruled city of Novgorod. And maybe Russia wouldn't have become such an authoritarian place without the Mongol invasions.
I see.
Yeah.
So that was like obviously a close enemy to them, right?
Yeah.
Mongols.
Yeah. And of course, it is because sort of the liberation from the Mongol rule was a big story in Russian history. Like, but it is sort of a contradictory historical memory about the Mongol invasions, because in some sense some Russians who are not favorably disposed to West, they think that maybe it helped make Russia sort of unique in a way, that there was this Mongol Eastern influence, and Russia sort of didn't become like other Western European countries, for example.
I see. I was thinking after this we could maybe go through chronologically, if that would be okay with you.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, great. And lastly, I think it would also be a good introduction to Russia for the people who don't know, like the national anthem.